Hi, and welcome to 31 Days of Down the Red Rabbit Hole. Happy Halloween. Now, my name is McGuinness. I'm a writer. My debut novel, Crowfield House, was published June just gone, so it's only out a couple of months. So I want to talk to you a little bit about Halloween traditions and what Halloween was like for me as a child. So I'm Irish and I grew up in the countryside and I'm very rural. So Halloween is literally my favourite time of year. It's something to do with the weather, it's everything. Even just these mornings now, these beautiful kind of, blue sky mornings, a little bit of frost and that little tinge in the air. It is just perfect time to just curl up with a good scary book or scary movie, whatever, and just terrify yourself. That's what it's all about. That's what it is. So anyway, of course Halloween is so big now. It really is. It's just, everywhere you look, you're going to see pumpkins, you're going to see all that sort of stuff. But back, say, when I was a kid, I'm in my 50s now, so you're going back a while ago, you're talking about it in the 80s and that. It wasn't just as big, but it was definitely, there was traditions there, different things that used to happen. People used to pull pranks and jokes and stuff like that. And one of the big things that people used to do, because I'm in a rural community with farmers, they would steal gates, okay? So they would go out to farms and they would take the gate off, so then all the livestock would get out on the road and just wander around. And there might have been a reason for that. I'm not 100% sure, but it just sounds like just devilment and mayhem and added to kind of the shenanigans of it all. So that one I think has died out. I don't care too much about that either. But we did have, people used to carve turnips rather than pumpkins, for Halloween. So, and people would then put a candle in the turnip and that. But you also had the tradition, you had, nuts and things like that, like walnuts, all that sort of stuff. And but you had different things you used to do. You had a barmbrack, obviously. So barmbrack is like, I'm sure it's like a cake with kind of raisins and stuff like that. And then you'd find your ring in the barmbrack, and whoever got the ring that was wrapped up was going to be the next person to get married. So they're everywhere still, barmbracks. So that's something I'm delighted to see still going. And you had the snap apple as well. So like you tie an apple from a cord, and then you just blindfold the person, and they had to try and take a bite out of the apple. And inevitably, these were all small children who were trying to do that, and a lot of them were always losing their teeth at the time. So you're just losing your baby teeth, and you try to bite this apple, and it wasn't unheard of for a baby to end up stuck in the apple. So yeah, great. So anyway, great memories of that one. The other one then was blind man's buff. Okay, so blindfold, spin people around, and then there was you did different saucers and you put different things in the saucer. And again, there was a lot of blindfolding involved in this now when I think about it. And if you put your hand, there might be water in one saucer, and that meant you were going to cross the ocean, and there might be sand in another one, and that wasn't good. I think that meant you were going to die. So they all had different meanings, but that's what I just remember from my childhood, all these different traditions around Halloween. And it was just that, and combined with the weather, it just all seemed to come together to create this perfect storm nearly of imagination and storytelling, and anything is possible, so my imagination just used to fire on all cylinders when it came to Halloween. Absolutely loved it. So of course then it was always the time for spooky movies. So I actually have my favourite spooky movie here. Okay, here it is. The Haunting of Hill House. So this is the original one. Alright, I'm just trying to see. Oh my god, which year is this? Oh Lord, I can't even see now, can I? Hold on a minute, I'm so blind, I really am. 1963. Wow. I actually don't think it's in black and white. I think it was colour, because I actually bought the copy, and I was going to save it for Halloween. I couldn't wait. I bought it and I read it. So it's based on Shirley Jackson's novel, The Haunting of Hill House, and it's so good. It's just one of these. It kind of set a gold standard in terms of atmospheric kind of thrillers, and it was to do with the camera shots and that. And I remember it terrified 8-year-old me. Absolutely. I don't think I slept probably a year afterwards. So there was one part in it where somebody was holding her hand at night. I was convinced that was going to happen. Someone was going to come in and hold my hand at night. You know, it was absolutely 100% going to happen. So it did exactly what it says on the tin. It was brilliant. So, and I persuaded my family to sit and watch this with me only recently. And I have to say now, you know, cynical older people and that, like they said, it was very good. So it hasn't lost a lot of its charm considering how old it is. So you know, it's still scary. It's still good. So, the other thing that I have is my favourite ghost story of all time. So, I don't know if I remember these. Here we go. It's a Fontana book of horror stories. I have a few of them, and they're not so much horror, they are more ghost stories. There's not a lot of gore or anything in them. And again, this is quite old. Who you got? You've got Lovecraft, Henry James. Now, I'm going to try and see what year this is. Oh my gosh, I've got this. Look at this. I don't know. Is somebody trying to communicate with me? That's very odd. I can't even make out the writing. I can see a name. John Lawler. Okay, don't know what that is. There we go. John Lawler could be trying to communicate with somebody there. Christine Bernard, 1968. So again, this is pretty old. So my favourite story from this one is Green Fingers, R.C. Cook. So this story is literally my favourite ghost story, and I have read and listened to probably hundreds at this stage, and it just ticks all the boxes in terms of its simplicity and how it stays with you. So it's perfection as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know who R.C. Cook is. I've tried to do a little bit of Googling and I'm not finding a whole lot. So I'm just going to give you just the very first line though, because just a little taste and then I'll tell you. So Widow Bowen was getting old. She was 75, perhaps, or 80. No one in Breath Common really knew, but then it didn't really matter. She looked the same trim little person that she had always been, even while her husband, Ernest, had been alive, and he had died 10 years ago. The little grey stone cottage on the hill lane up to the common was half hidden by damson trees from the road, and wrapped snugly, as if in a woolen comforter, by the flowering creeper which grew up beside the door. So that's it. So that sets the scene for the Widow Bowen, and she literally has green fingers as the title says. So she's kind of she's saying I can grow anything in my garden, and to kind of prove a point, she plants a nail clipping. Okay, it starts to grow. Okay, but then poor Widow Bowen, she's getting old, and she has an accident one day, and she accidentally cuts off her little pinky finger. And when she comes back from the hospital, a very nice nurse has brought her home. She buries it in the garden. But can you guess what happens? A Widow Bowen starts to grow in her garden. And it's just so brilliant. It just slowly goes, kind of unravels, and it's just so creepy, the tension. I don't want to tell you what happens, but I love it. It's just so simple, so well done. It's such a nice, brilliant premise, you know. So, so I have something else to show you. Well done. Here we go. Now, how Halloweeny is that? Look, I have a little guy in here reading a book. So this is actually to do with my book. I'm going to show it to you now. So hold on, I have a copy of it here. So this is my book that came out in June. So it's Crowfield House. Okay, so it's gothic thriller. Of course it is. I love creepy old houses. They're just my thing. So it involves a mystery of a missing boy, and then his sister Elspeth returns to the house, and she's determined to solve the mystery as to what happened. So it's about, I think it's amazing how Amazon reviewers can actually sum things up nearly better than I can, the person who wrote it. So if you like creepy old houses, you know, family secrets, you know, that's it. That's what you need in your life if you want to read this for the autumn. And there is a familiar. So this is, so a witch's familiar. I actually have leaves lining the bottom of this, and moss, and he went on tour with me when I was going around talking about the book. So the crow is Poe, and I just love crows. There's a lot about crows in the book as well, so crows are just fantastic. So, but I think that's it. So thank you very much for letting me ramble on here and tell you about my Halloween traditions and the things that I love about this time of year. And I just want to say to you, if you please subscribe to the podcast, it makes a huge difference to your lovely hosts, Izzy Peacock and Lisa Shepherd. And I just want to make sure, anything I'm missing here? Oh yes, you'll find links about my writing. They're going to put a link down here down the bottom, and my website on that as well. So please, if you want, take a look if that sounds like your cup of tea. And happy Halloween. Bye.